Today we are going to talk about consumer staples. Now, consumer staples, no, is a sector no, which has performed extremely well in last 1 year. If you talk about their ETF is up by almost 49%. Now, when we talk about consumer staples, are nothing but no, the products which has been used no on the daily basis. Okay, so if we talk about FMCG or we talk about paint industry, QSR, or when we talk about liquor, okay, all these sector, even jewelry also, no, we can talk about that also. We can conclude in consumer staples and all that. So consumer industry we are going to talk about in detail, and believe me guys, this is one of the sector which has given extremely good return over the time. So chale, let us go into talk about the debt in detail. We'll talk about the sector today first, how the sector look likes, and no, from here what is the scope, how it may go up from here. Okay, but before I go guys, if you're still not no actually subscribe to our channel, do subscribe it. And also guys, if you have any question, put it in the chat box, in the comment box. I do reply with all your questions, any sector or stock related question you can put it. And also guys, do like this video. Okay, चले तो बात करते हैं first of all consumer stocks mein. In that no, we'll take FMCG first. When we talk about FMCG guys, okay, which other sector has performed well is one of the FMCG is there. Then another is jewelry business has done extremely well. Liquor has done a moderate return. QSR also moderate, but however paint industry has not done so well. So when we talk about the future scope also, no, when we talk about, first let us talk about FMCG is in a sweet spot currently. First of all, as the market has gone up a lot, you can see no, now the many more investors are getting towards FMCG, because they feel that is a safe haven. And many of the, even the fund manager, moving their fund towards FMCG. That's why FMCG has done well. But when we talk about their growth is not so great. Honestly, it is like 5-7% across the verticals, and that is not such a big growth. Again guys, understand, earlier the inflation pressure was there. As a result, their margin was getting impacted. Okay, and now the inflation is started cooling down. Now you can see the monsoon is there. So as this monsoon and all that, this will have an impact on the no raw material prices, and it will ease out. And once it is out, you can think about no, the basically margin expansion for these FMCG companies. Again guys, rural area is performing much better than the urban area when we talk about in last few quarters, and that is what pushing FMCG stocks. See, FMCG normally do very well now when the rural area in India start performing. So that you always have to keep in, because this is the area where there is a high demand. Okay, and keep this in mind. So rural area plays a big role. Plus rain was quite good. Rain was quite good across the country. This time it was no more than normal rain, but situation was bad in some of the regions where no, you can say that rain was fallen too much, and as a result there is a flood type situation. Bearing that, across India the rain was good, and this is what may help no you can say that FMCG sector, because if the rain is good, your you can say that no, raw material prices will go down, the inflation will go down. Okay, and that is when no pulses sales and all that. Okay, and that will have a impact on the margin of FMCG. See, remember one thing, FMCG sector, initially when the inflation goes up, no, they will increase the prices of a product and everything. Correct. Now once the increases, if the inflation goes down, they normally don't make it lower, वो उतना ही रखते हैं. And this you have to keep in mind, because they are keeping the lower prices. Sorry, they keep the higher prices, but the raw material prices goes on a lower side, their margin normally expand. And that is what the benefit is getting for the FMCG sector, that because of the raw material easing, it will be benefited. However, the volume growth is not so great. If you talk about Dabur, if you talk about Marico, HUL, and all that, Britannia, around 5 to 7% growth is there, which is not so great. If we think about no, the what type of P ratio they are actually attracting, but come what may, this is the sector which has given an extremely good return over this, and that's why they are trading at 80-90 P and all that. And this will remain because they have given a steady growth over the time. So this is the point you have to keep in mind, because no if you want to go for a steady return, yes, these are some of the stock which may give you a steady return. But remember guys, no, you have to see the growth of a revenue, and again how they are able to no, reduce their raw material cost, increase the EBITDA margin. Operational efficiency में ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, because this all these companies already have a big network thing. But so that the cost saving उतना नहीं आता है, but yes, they may spend more on marketing to push their products, and that will have an impact on EBITDA. Okay, but overall I don't think that there will be a big change in the net profitability. Actually, it may be on the positive side rather than on a negative side. So this you have to keep in mind. Okay, and quarterly, if you see quarter to quarter, last few quarters margin has expanded. Now they will reach a peak where the margin will be at the maximum level, but till then these stocks may have a much more better advantage compared to other verticals of consumer staples and all that. Now let us talk about, we can talk about the EBITDA margin, and sorry, we'll talk about the liquor stock. Now talking about the liquor stock, guys, if you talk about United Spirit, United Beverages and all that, okay, their growth is little bit muted, and it may remain muted for next few quarters, or around 7% and around. Okay, however, some of the policies at the government level, no, state government level is impact actually having a benefit for these liquor companies, like Karnataka, actually they have done a MRP cut. Okay, even Andhra Pradesh retail shop privatization, all this thing is going to benefit them. Okay, and this will be a benefit, but overall if you see the problem with the liquor companies which I have over the years, is that these guys are too much depending on the state government policy. Okay, how much you can say preference is given by the state government. Now if you are focusing a lot on the preferences given by the state government, if it does not come, these companies are getting impacted. So what I feel, that there is no consistent return given by the liquor companies over the years. That is what I feel always. Even when we give stock recommendation into our members and all that, I always feel that we have to go to a sector, which give us a steady return, rather than it is depending on the regulatory issue. This is the problem which we are having with the liquor stock. Okay, and that's why normally I do avoid no, to give this type of stock recommendation to my members. The reason is simple, that the policy is not stabilized, and no, it is much more dependent on the government policy. Okay, by the way, if you want to know about more of our products, currently the Navratri festival going on, some very good discount available. Okay, more than 50% discount is available in our products. We are given the link, go and check it out, our products. There we give a stock recommendation. It will be large cap, mid cap, small cap, ETF, IPO and all that, lot many new products included. You can go and check it out. Okay, so this was all about the liquor. And when we talk about the that was liquor, now let us talk about the QSR. Okay, like restaurants and all that, that has also done modestly well. Okay, and there the problem was same, because of inflation, the raw material prices and all them. For them, what is the raw material? Of course, this vegetables and all that, connect grains and all that. So it was on higher side, but now as the inflation cool down, they'll be in a benefit. But basically they have a problem of negative no operating margin. Plus one of the reason is that competition is too tough. Okay, and if you talk about now, some of the QS are there, of course, Domino's of the world and all that. Okay, Jubilant Foodwork and all that, they have been gone through a very very bad phase. Now they are literally coming up, and QSR had done extremely well. But of course, because of Swiggy, Zomato and all that, these companies are also getting impacted. Okay, and somehow the margin is not so good as it used to be earlier, because you have to give discount in order to attract more and more customer. So this will be a problem with many of the QSR companies. However, the volume growth will be around 8 to 10% next quarter also. And but the problem is that only, are they able to maintain their margins? This is one of a key question you have to ask when we talk about the QSR companies. QSR companies, if you talk about Jubilant Foodwork, has done extremely well 3 years ago. Okay, अभी वो इतना नहीं है. Again, as I told you, Swiggy, Zomatos of the world, no, they are giving so much of discount. Again, when you are there in such type of competitive environment, you have to give discount. So that type of benefit is not that QSR the way it was there earlier. So this you have to keep in when you're talking about the QSR business. Now let us talk about the paint industry. Talking about the paint industry, you know, the crude prices are going down. Okay, now of course because of this Israel and Iran crisis, all that crude price one time it has gone below $70. Now it has gone to almost $80. No, not 80, sorry, around $78. Okay, now if it goes about 85, then there's a problem for all this paint industry, because raw material, the main raw material is crude price, okay, crude oil. And again guys, if it is lower, then these companies will be benefited to margin. But when we talk about the volume growth, the volume growth is muted for all this paint industry. If we talk about Asian Paints may grow by 5%, Indigo may go by 6% odd. The problem is coming on the margin front, which was not there earlier. Now the crude oil prices gone down, so it will be benefited. But the problem is the volume is not coming. And again, they had a big daddy entry, you know, that Billa has entered. And Billa Opus, no, their brand, they started big level discounting. And when you have a big level discounting with from such a big player like Billa, because they are, if you talk about this, they have a network effect because of Ultratech Cement. And guys, this Grasim at the end of the day is much more bigger company than Asian Paints, you know that. So when you have, it's like a moment of what happened in telecom industry, you know, in 2015-16, when Vodafone was number one and then Geo came into picture. And what happened, I'm not saying that Asian Paints will go away, but the bigger moat of all this paint industry has gone away because of such a high competition. And guys, remember, when you have such a high competition, price discovery or price control is not in your favor. You have to give discount in order to retain your market share. Like Asian Paints has more than 50% of market share. Now, if Billa is coming with such a big discount, they have no option. They also have to give some discounts, and they have to forego on the margin fund. So this is the problem which will remain with the paint industry. If you ask me, shall I go for the paint industry? You should go. I'll say no. The reason is simple, guys. The problem with the paint industry is too much of competition. Again, no, you cannot no foresee what type of margin improvement will come if you start giving so much of discount. So that you have to keep in mind. Of course, some of the other companies like PD Light and all that, they may do well, as they are not, they are also in the paint industry little bit, but morely adhesive business. They may have a 11 to 12% growth slowly and gradually. And as the raw material prices goes down, no, like oil has goes down, this they will be benefited through that. Okay, when we talk about other business, is nothing a jewelry business. Now jewelry business also now done extremely well in last quarter. One of the main reason, in the budget, you know, that they have cut down the import duty by 8 to 10%. That has an impact, directly benefited to the jewelry companies. But now again the gold prices started going up, so wo set off ho gaya. Now again the gold prices on a much more higher side. Honestly, you know that SGB, sovereign gold bonds, no, when government came brought it, this one, even RBI, they never thought it will be such a headache to the government authorities. But yes, it is a big headache. Now somehow they, last time they compensated, means they try to avoid that problem. But now as the gold prices goes up, there'll be a problem for sovereign gold bonds for the government at the end of that. Okay, coming back to the jewelry business, guys, jewelry business is doing well. Okay, and initially if you talk about, no, they will have a volume growth, but uh, okay, volume growth, 15 to 20% volume growth. Titan and all that, they will have a decent volume growth. Even if you talk about that, in that industry, you know, so many like Kalyan Jewelers, Samco Gold, and so many others are there. They started doing well. This is an exciting sector to be in, because as and when the discretionary income goes up, I think jewelry business may do well. And that is where the Titan and Samco, Kalyan, and so many other, now PCJ is also slowly graduating. They are in a sweet spot compared to, no, all other staples you were talking about. Okay, now let us talk about basically government. Uh, they are working on so many things. They, now all this PLI scheme is not coming for the consumer, because consumer, you know, they, it is doing well over the time. But if we talk about, okay, let me give you the crux of the story now. If we talk about FMCG, is in a good spot. If we talk about paint industry, no. Even I don't think liquor is a great spot to be in. QSR, okay. No, it will have their own days, but yes, if you talk about jewelry business, I think it is there again in a sweet spot. Now let us see how the no the results are coming of all these companies which we have discussed about. No, I think HUL, Marico, Britannia, no, all these may do well over the time, a decent type of return. Dabur also actually now coming up. Okay, so all these companies you have to keep in mind, but let us see the result and then we can discuss. So hope you like this video, guys, and of course the jelly business I already spoken about. So hope you like this video. If you like this video, do like it and share it to everyone. I just try to give you an overlook how this all the verticals of consumer staple look like, and no, we'll cover the results also. If you want any stock to be analyzed from myself or any sector, put it in the comment box, and do check our stock recommendation size, guys. Navratri offer going on, lot of offers are there. So thank you very much, guys, for joining, and I'll see you next time. So thank you, guys. See you then. Bye bye.